Hey everybody, it's Jeremy. Welcome back to Bozmos2, where we are playing Chaco. It is turn 34. Let's jump into things. Okay, so we have done Enchantment 3 on our way up to Enchantment 4. We've cast some Ant Warriors. There is a Dire Portent as new relay, which I believe is Lucid, has put up the Eyes of God, or taken the Eyes of God from Lemuria, I believe, and posted. You know what? We should actually probably, maybe we'll do that at the end of this video. Maybe not though. Anyways, moving on. Let me jump back in things. We've cast some Summon Bears. We have some Proclamations, new Prophets. So we've got Even Hungrier Fish. We've got Kinbreaker, and we've got Prophet of Bubbles number 3. Good to know. And then we've got a couple of battles. So, we were attacked in Walden. See how this goes. Okay, so this is just some counter raiding. A commander leading some Gog Reavers, taking back the province. No big deal. Easy peasy. And then we're attacking in Tyrannia with our little Raptor squad. Unfortunately, we're up against actually an amount of stuff. Both PD and actual units. So we get kind of fucked up here. And that is that. We managed to kill 2 Soldier Priests and 1 Orionde Warriors, so that's kind of unfortunate. We are attacked in Chaco. Let's see. Is it the whole army? It's the whole army. Okay. Is whole army. Oof. This is gonna be a thing. So, Wooden Warriors. And these guys are scary, right? Protection 21 Soldier Priests are pretty tough. They're beatable, but they're pretty tough. So, kind of worried about them. And got the Divine Channeling that goes up. Ooh, that's kind of cool. Very good fighting against his ability to get super easy Divine Channelings would be very good against Urmor. And in fact, point of fact, Phasia has tried to get Ind to fight against Urmor, but kind of like me, right? The ability to fight Urmor for Ind is on a very narrow front. And Ind, also like me, only has basically like one map move, you know, one province at a time movement for big armies. And it would just lead to a spaghetti string empire. Like, I fully understand the reasons why Ind has attacked me, truth be told. I mean, honestly, we've been talking about attacking Ind or Old Man or Phasia for a while now, so. Okay, so we have been besieged by a large force of units from Ind. See how that goes. And then there, we witness a battle in between Marverni and Lemuria. So, looks like... there is a fortification here. Was Lemuria able to get the fort up? I guess so. So this is Marverni's 50,000 Sequani Stargazers. Basically doing the thing that we're doing, right? But our Chacoan... I think that's actually one of the things that we have going for us, right? Our Chacoan Star Priests are sacred. So, the more I play Chaco, the more I am positive that I'm just playing Chaco wrong. To qualify that doesn't mean that I think Chaco is super good or super strong, mind you. But I think I should be playing them in a different way, and they would be benefiting from it more if I was playing them in that way. Damn, that's a lot of fucking horror marks. Is that necessary? Oof. Goodness. Alright, anyways. They're clearly going to win here. Attacked and won, lost nothing. 50 Stargazers. Peace. Okay. And then we have an unexpected event in Talito. The dead rise from their graves. Great. We have lost Dominion in Finica. We have lost gold in Zox. We have gained province income in Domen. And in Nidian range, a large group of people started to worship a false pretender, so we lost Dominion and gained unrest. Annoying. Battle in Toledo, let's see how we do. That's a fair number of undead, we're not going to win this. So we've got a small amount of PD. Run forward and chop chop. And they're dead. Okay. And then we discovered a scout from Ind. We are under siege in Chaco and our walls are damaged. That's not good news. So walls being damaged means that they're actually breaking through at a significant rate, right? So that's not great. We were hoping, right, that if they came and they sieged, we would have enough within our walls to make it to where it would take them several turns to break through. But it looks like that's not going to be the case. Verdant Step is unharmed. And then when you have a new famous hero. So let's actually go to that new famous hero real quick. Gim, please. Should be Wuya 4 over here. Now has Heroic Endurance. Recovers from fatigue at an unbelievable rate. So just has a built-in 2 reinvigoration, which is pretty cool. Honestly. Okay. What are we doing this turn? Well, first, let's go ahead and take a look at how badly is the siege going. Oh, shit. That's really bad. That's really bad. So, we were hoping, right? We have not the same, but we have a pretty decently sized army, right? And we have these Katsina warriors who have very good siege defense, comparably, right, to like a normal unit. We had something else that was pretty good. Bears? Nope. Bears. These are the ant warriors. Oh well. So the hope was that we were going to be able to hold out for, 2 or 3 turns before the fort was cracked. And that way we would be able to spend our time making the army size more comparable, and then having a big battle and going from there, right? Because as it is, we're rocking about the same number of mages, but we have significantly less troops. We have about 100 less troops. We take a look at the forces here. And that makes a difference. That matters. Especially that matters with the Gog Reavers being so killy and having Berserk, and the Soldier Priests being so inherently tanky and then getting Wooden Warriors. That is going to be tough to deal with. Our Katsina can deal with that. They hit hard enough to deal with that. Our Jade Maidens don't really hit hard enough to deal with that. Our Chacoan Elite Warriors can't really deal with that. The Bears actually hit hard enough to kind of deal with that. And the Ant Warriors are kind of like this in-between, right? So, and this is the main focus of the turn. So we're going to spend some actual time on it. What are we doing? Well, we've got a turn. So, our walls will be popped next turn. So it means we have this turn for rituals, and we have next turn for rituals. So that means, if we take a look here, right, we are summoning bears on our 2 Wuyas, and And then we're summoning Ant Warriors on all the rest of our capable casters. So we get 8 Ant Warriors. So, you know, it's, what, 32 Ant Warriors this turn. We're going to get 8-ish bears. I think 8 bears. So that's going to be another 16 bears. So 16 bears, 32 Ant Warriors per turn. Okay. So we're sitting at plus 48 units. Plus 48 units this turn, and theoretically plus 48 units next turn, which we'll have, though we won't be able to put them into formations or anything like that. Puts us at a comparable size to his army. Which still means it comes down to like a 50-50 fight, and that's not good, right? That's really not good. So, what can we do to try to put things in our favor, right? Well, one of the things I wanted to do was, and I should have, this was an idea I had already. I should have gone for it last turn, but I was slow, I was preoccupied doing other stuff, I thought I'd have more time. But one of the ideas I had was to put a trade for an amulet of anti-magic, so that we could either double up and have a lodestone and amulet of anti-magic, in which case Yona, the Great Bear, would be very, very hard to kill. Because he would have 31 magic resistance, right? He'd have pretty high protection, very high regeneration. He'd have berserking, so it'd be likely that he would stick around throughout the entire fight. And basically, the idea was to try to just rely on him to, even if we're going to lose overall, we won't actually lose, right? It's like we can't kill this immobile, right? Except this isn't an immobile. It's going to come bite their faces off, right? That type of scenario. Unfortunately, I didn't get any bites. I tried to send out a broadcast and say, hey, I will pay extra for an amulet of anti-magic this turn, but I didn't get any bites on it. Which happens, right? That's my own fault. I should have anticipated this and gone to get one last turn. So that's out of our options, which is not good, because that means that Yona is only going to have 27 magic resistance, and 27 magic resistance is still pretty good, but it's not good enough to not get caught eventually, right? So we need to try to equalize our chances before that happens. We have a very big core of Katsina warriors, and Katsina warriors are very, very strong, okay? They have, with our Bless, they have very high attack skill, they have Temper Flesh, they have regeneration. That's going to be very hard for him to deal with. However, it is possible for him to deal with it. So, we've got a couple of different things, and I'm not going to go through all of them this turn. I'm not going to go through all the scripting that we're doing this turn. But I'm looking at all the options that we have. We'll do the scripting next turn. That way, we have something to look at, you know. But we're making use of a bunch of different things, trying to add in additional natural protection, trying to, you know, do some other options for protective situations. We're doing flaming missiles. We've got, I think, very interestingly, empower magic beings, which is going to be kind of cool, and that will affect our Katsinas. But the big thing that we're going to try to do this turn, and potentially next turn, is we're assaulting his army with a Wuya. So we're sending Wuya 5 in to attack the army on Chaco. And we are doing this, and we're kind of crossing our fingers, hoping that this is going to work out in the way that we want it to. But we're doing this with the following kind of gear. We have an AoE weapon. Unfortunately, we only have one of these that we can utilize. The other one that we would want to utilize is up here with Wuya 4, which we are moving down towards... What? I still don't think we would be able to move. We have to cross a river. We have to leave a forest, then go into... Which movement? Have 20? Yeah, with snow, that's not gonna... Not gonna work, so... Sorry, I'm looking up movement amounts. Fuck. Moves. Is there really not a page on the wiki for this? Gee. Oh my goodness. Alright. Pull up the manual real quick. Alright. I can never remember the exact specific. So forest is 5. And then snow is +1. So if we were to... Crossing a river matter? I guess it doesn't if it's frozen. So, if we were to move here, it would take 5 plus 1, so 6 to leave, and 6... No. It would take 6 to leave, then we're moving into a plains that would take 4 to enter, right? So that's 10. Leaving would be another 4. We're entering into a plains, which is only 4. But it is an enemy province, technically. So it's gonna count as +4. So yeah, it would be 6 plus 4 is 10, then 4 plus 8 is 12. So 22, and we are too low. If this guy had Boots of the Messenger, which I had put on the other guy, then he would be good. He would make it, because Boots of the Messenger are +9 movement, so he would have 3 more map moves, so we would be able to do that. But we cannot, so if that's the case, we might as well just hit Smacia. So anyway, sorry, I got off on a little tangent there because it occurred to me that I might have another option. So we're throwing Wuya 5 at the enemy there, and we're moving Wuya 8 into position to be able to hopefully do the same on the following turn. And we're creating gear to add to that situation. So we're making a lead shield, we're making a Kithrionic lion pelt, a stone bird, making a lodestone because we don't have one of those anymore. And I think that's it. Crown of lead as well, though we may or may not use the crown of lead. So we're not using the crown of lead on Wuya 5, right? Getting very persnickety into the actual stuff that we're trying to use. So we are starting off our scripting with Iron Will, which gives us a +4 to our magic resistance. very important that we have very high magic resistance so that we don't just get soul slayed by his communion. And the ultimate goal isn't necessarily to kill his whole army. That is probably unrealistic. But the goal is to get surrounded, right? Get stuck in, get surrounded by enemy units, and entangle them so much that they can't kill Wuya 5, right? And then the plan is to have his mages, his maguses, burn out the communion, trying to soul slay or paralyze or mind burn or whatever the Wuya, right? But it's a very fine line that we're having to balance here because, right, we've got to have enough magic resistance to where we don't get obliterated. A crown of lead will put us at 26 to start, with the iron will that puts us at 30. But without the crown of lead, we can get a dragon helmet, which gives us +3 to our protection, +5 morale, and +5 fire resistance. So it's this toss-up, right? You know, what is going to get us in the situation? Is one more magic resistance going to be the thing that lets him snipe me? Or is 3 more points of protection and maybe some morale the thing that's going to keep me from getting gibbed by his Gog Reavers or his End soldiers, etc.? So we're in this very kind of like weird balancing act that I'm hoping is going to work out. So again, really, we're not anticipating killing the entirety of his army. But the hope is that we can just be obstinate and not die to the point to where the main goal is that his maguses burn out his communion. Because I think if he doesn't have his soul slay communion there to just blast me, I think we can win in the long run, right? But that being said, getting some of his army to rout or killing some of his soldiers would also be great, right? Now, we have all of the typical tricks that we have with our Wuyas. We have our built-in Bind Shield. We're starting off with Iron Will. We're going to do Blessing, which gets us regeneration, gets us Temper Flesh, gets us +4 attack skill, right? +4 attack skill is going to be relatively decent to get him into... And yeah, we're still low because of our death power, unfortunately. Because our growth is still punished because of the sarcophagus, the silver sarcophagus being opened. But after that, right, we're going to Iron Skin up. Iron Skin with the current protection that we have is going to put us at about 31 protection, I believe. And this is one of the reasons why I'm kind of leaning towards utilizing the Dragon Helmet rather than the Crown of Lead, is because I think the 3 additional protection over the Crown of Lead is going to make that much more of a difference in trying to keep Wuya 5 alive, right? Whereas I think maybe, you know, and I'm gonna laugh, I'm gonna be wrong, they're gonna high roll and 1 magic resistance is gonna be the difference. We'll see, right? But we've still got a Stone Bird in there. The other thing, right, that I want to use the Dragon Helm for is that gives us 10 fire resistance, and we've seen that the maguses will on the occasion turn to fire magic to try to deal with things. That is normally only if they are close enough, right? Because I think they were using Incinerate, which I think has a 30-foot or a 30 range, which I'm hoping that we never get to that range with the maguses, or if we do get to that range with the maguses, that we do so well after they're fatigued out, you know, that type of situation. Speaking of fatigue, that's a big issue for us. We have a base of 3 reinvigoration, thanks to our boots in the messenger. But items like the Kithrionic Lion Pelt's kind of whatever, but it's really the lead shield. The lead shield is super high magic resistance, but it is so much encumbrance. It is a bad encumbrance shield. You can see the Scutata Volturnus, great shield, very high protection, very good parry, only 2 encumbrance. The fucking lucky coin, no encumbrance. Not a great shield, but no encumbrance, right? Fucking lead shield, 3 encumbrance. That's real bad. So we're going Iron Will, Blessing, Iron Skin, because these 3 things are required to keep us alive. The next thing that we're going to do is summon Earth Power. And that is really necessary. It's going to add hopefully enough for reinvigoration. We're not going to be fatigue neutral. Well, it depends, right? It's winter. It's going to be late winter. So, yeah. It's still going to be too cold. If it was cold too, then it might actually drop. Yeah, it is what it is. Can't really do anything about it. So, our encumbrance is going to be an issue. We're doing Summon Earth Power to try to fix it as much as we can, but we will eventually fatigue out. That will be a problem. And then, this is one that I'm kind of hemming and hawing over, honestly. We're doing Temper Armor. I've gone back and forth between the concept of Temper Armor or Prayer of Earth, right, to try to get that reinvigoration, or Personal Regeneration to increase our sorry, I said regeneration earlier, reinvigoration and regeneration. So I'm trying to I've gone back and forth, but I think at the end of the day, I think having the +3 prot to all pieces generally boosts our protection by about 2 overall, maybe 3, depending on the right situation. And that can push us from the like 30, 31-ish area, 20, 29, or 29, 30, 31-ish area to the 31, 32, 33 area of protection. And it matters. It definitely matters, especially when stacked with something like Temper Flesh, right? That amount of kind of like topping off your protection there really does matter. It really does make a difference. But that being said, does it make a difference more than 20% regeneration is going to do, right? Like, they're going to get through on occasion. They're going to chip through. And 10% regeneration is a fair amount, but 20% regeneration is quite a bit. So I don't know if that's more worthwhile. And then again, right, if we fatigue out, that is going to be a significantly worse opportunity or better opportunity for them to kill me, right? Should I be focusing on not getting fatigued and going from there? But so here's some of the issues, right? Because this is DE, I'm not used to playing with all these spells. I don't know if Prayer of Earth stacks with Earth Power, right? So I don't know if that's an option. I've also looked at other spells like Beast-Hide Warriors, right? Grants natural protection +5 and slash resistance. Could I just Iron Skin and then Beast-Hide Warriors, right? Would that take me to 25 base natural protection? Because if it does, that seems obscene. But I don't know if they stack. I don't know, right? I guess I would do Boar Skin because Boar Skin is like the, and I don't get this. I don't get why they do these things. Like Beast-Hide Warriors is just AoE Boar Skin. Why is that DE does this weird shit where it like spreads all of these things out? Whereas the vanilla game typically has, if there's an upgrade of a spell, it's typically in the same school, right? Because it's the same spell, it's just increased. But DE spreads this shit all out, so it freaks me out. Anyways, I have no idea if that matters, right? Because it doesn't have this tagline on like Barkskin or compared to what like Barkskin does, where it's it's a +1 if already 10 or higher, right? I don't know if it's a increases natural protection by +5 unless you already have more than +5 natural protection. Or more than 5 natural protection. I don't know. I have no idea. If it does give you +5 natural protection, I would imagine that might be super strong. Because +5 is pretty huge. Like, if we could go from 20 to 25 as a base natural protection with 2 spells on a Wuya, the gear that we have, oof, I mean, we'd be able to be so flexible on gear. That'd be crazy. Anyway, so that's what we're doing, right? It is fairly likely, we've seen this already, but looking at his army, the way that it's set up, he does have things, he has some stuff moving forward, right? He's got some Gogs out there. It is possible that they get to me before we finish up the script, but we should get most of it done. If we take a look at Alden, take a look at Verdant Step. Yeah, these guys just run straight at me. So we get Iron Will, Blessing, Iron Skin, Summon Earth Power, Flying Shield. So we get, it's barely, right? We're barely done. But we get the majority of our script off before, you know, no. We get the whole script off before we get caught. I guess, look, yeah. No, I think we're fine. Anyways, so the hope is that we're going to do some damage to his army. And then next turn, right, assuming that we don't just obliterate his army, because that I think is very unlikely. I think honestly that we're probably screwed here. You know, having really high MR is great against like a single person, right? But having really high MR against like 5 or 6 casters is I don't know. There's just a chance that they roll really well, you know? So, I don't know. We'll see. Fingers crossed. And if it does some damage, right? Like if we're able to like kill a couple, drive off a couple, etc., then we're gonna basically do the exact same thing next turn with this Wuya. And even if we don't succeed, we might do the exact same thing with this Wuya next turn anyways. Or if we have a resounding success and we like drive off a lot of his army, kill off his you know, fatigue out his slaves and kill them off, then maybe we just attack with our army from Chaco on the next turn. That's pretty much it. That's the majority of the turn. We're doing a little bit other stuff. We're sending Mong 1 to deal with these undead. We're attacking Smacia with Wuya 4. We're moving Wuya 8 into position. And then, of course, we're continuing to recruit everywhere. And again, right, the more I play Chaco, the more I realize, like, I should probably have just done a very, like, light, maybe like a penetration bless for my Chacoan Star Priests, or, you know, something very, very relaxed and gone pretty heavy scales, very high magic, and then just resigned myself to being a smaller nation, right? Like, I expanded very well. I'm happy with how that worked. But our prospects moving forward, I think, are actually way worse than they need to be. But anyways, it's been fun. That's it for the turn. Fingers crossed. We'll see how things go next turn. Bye, everybody.